Hello and welcome to CreativeCOW. Today, CreativeCOW welcomes Roland Kahlenberg, who is here to speak about the power of Mograph templates. Roland is an Adobe certified expert and a certified trainer with After Effects Mocha. Roland, how many years have you been at CreativeCOW now?
Well, I actually started from day one.
Day
Uh,
one.
so I was there almost every day for the first 12, 14 years. And then I took a long break. Um, I dropped by once in a while, not often, or not as often as I would like, but it's great to see that the cow is still moving along.
So, Roland, your adaptive responsive templates that you have created, they're very interesting. Where do you see them being applied in the real world?
Ooh, I think everywhere. I think the beauty of adaptive and responsive motion graphics is not it's not a template as you would normally think what a template is. The beauty of adaptive and responsive motion graphics is like the mother of all templates, right? It's a master template. So you develop an adaptive and responsive motion graphics template, and from this one template, you can quite easily and quickly, and when I say quickly and easily, I mean like under half an hour, sometimes even under 5 minutes, you can develop an alternate template from that. And this template works in, because it's adaptive, it works in different frame sizes, the graphics, the animation. So not just the graphics, the animation, the graphics in terms of its position, its size will automatically adjust to fit into this new frame size. Could be a bigger frame size, it could be smaller, it could be slightly different aspect ratio, and it will adapt automatically. So from this one template, you can create a lot of alternative templates, and that's the beauty of it. So no, we're not looking at the old days where for each, even pre-template days, a lot of people don't know this, but I think I was the first person to market motion graphics template, and this was back in 2002. So, and I was selling them on DVDs back then because you couldn't download hundreds of megabytes or gigabytes of footage over the net. It was just too slow. So we were selling them off DVDs, and I had After Effects templates, I had Premiere Pro templates and stuff like that. So, anyways, so back in the old days, you would develop one template. Of course, you could reuse it many times, but they were not responsive. So a lot of times, if you or when you type your text and you wanted your graphics to fit or to encapsulate the text, you would have to manually resize the text. And if there were other text bits below and you wanted to enlarge the one on top, you had to go to the one below and adjust it accordingly. Today with responsive motion graphics templates, which we'll look at it shortly, everything's automated. You resize the top one and the bottom one will adjust itself. It may move away in terms of position, or it may stay in the same place but scale down a little bit just to fit into the entire scheme of things. So it's very, very intelligent. And so when you ask where can it be used, I say everywhere. As long as you're creating content, you want to be able to develop content quickly, and also you want it to be on brand. You want it to look like it's your content, not someone else's content. I mean, you may be a very nice person, but I don't think you want to create content for your competitors or content that could be, look, hey, that looks like someone else's content, or I don't know whose content this is, because there's no identity branding, there's no consistency. I don't know whose video this is. It's a nice video, but I don't know you know. And chances are, if you, oh, I just stick my logo at the end, but not everyone sticks till the end these days, especially for social media videos. Once the video ends, they'll be swiping away and watching something else. So you want your branding to be part of the video as much as possible. Lots of people talking about video automation, where you can produce content, video content in an automated manner. And the beauty of this adaptive and responsive motion graphics is it lends itself to automation very easily. Again, all the automatic resizing, automatic adapting the graphics and elements, adapting themselves to new frame sizes means that you can automate the process, and everything still looks on brand and beautiful and perfect. And also personalized videos, again, with adaptive, responsive features built in. It looks very, very high quality in terms of the personalization, design, and graphics that come into play.
So, how do these responsive adaptive templates How do they compare to regular templates that are used in, say, post-production or content creation?
Like, honestly, I don't know of a lot of people who do adaptive or develop adaptive motion graphics templates. I know a few actually. I know a few, but I haven't seen them in action. Responsive motion graphics, the features are more common because it's a little bit on the easier side to employ or to deploy. But then again, I think I do it in a way which is a lot more complex, more interesting, more elements at play. I usually have three up to five, even six layers of text within a single template, all working together as a whole. And once you add the other graphic elements, it's not unusual for me to have up to 12 elements all working together as a tight unit to offer adaptive and responsive solutions. It's still very new, very, very new. Very few people know how to deploy, and it's very difficult still, I think, and that's a shame. So I've actually been thinking of running a course to teach people how to do it. I've got tons of material. I used to be a lecturer, a trainer at college, university, and I've trained hundreds upon hundreds of fellow professionals. So I know how to design the course. I've actually got a course outline too. I need to tidy it up a little bit because I want to add more stuff. Yeah, just finding the time to do it.
So, what inspired you to create these? Like, what was the impetus behind putting this solution together?
Oh, I mentioned earlier, I think I was one of the first in the world to market motion graphics templates. This is back in 2002. I like to do coding in After Effects. I think I was the first person to write tutorial on expressions, and it was for the cow.
Oh, yeah.
And that was on Wiggle. And I think the title of the tutorial was How to Create Animation Without Keyframes. I'm paraphrasing, right? Something like that. Because with writing expression codes and stuff, you can animate stuff, right? And you don't need keyframes. So at that time, there was like, wow, shit, I can animate stuff and I don't need keyframes. I can just do code, type some few lines of code and I can get some animation and stuff. So it was quite popular for quite a while. So anyways, so I'm looking at content. And lots of people need to develop content, and I do a lot of work for clients, sometimes very, very, very big clients. And when people ask me how big are these clients, I I normally reply, they're so big that they don't have to pay taxes, you know? Yeah. Strange, yeah. The bigger they are, the more they earn, the less they pay in taxes. But anyways, of course, I work with smaller clients also. But I've seen that their templates that they have, that they provide me with, sometimes they do have them, and it's horribly done. It's so poorly done. They don't have responsive features, so every time you use one of their templates, you have to manually jump in, of course, you type in new text and then you adjust the graphics, blah blah blah, and then you render it out, and then you go to Premiere Pro and then you bring it in, and then you blah 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 again, and it's so stupid, it's so silly. So Adobe, they about 7 years, 6 7 years ago, they came out with this file format, Mogert, short for motion graphics template. So it's quite a beautiful file format because it allows folks like us who develop stuff in After Effects to develop template solutions that work seamlessly within Premiere Pro, including all the automation stuff. Yeah, and the beauty of it is Premiere Pro has an auto reframe feature, which allows you to go, say you're editing at 4K, and then you want to go down to you want to output that also for Instagram, so you can do a auto reframe and you'll get a new timeline that's sized for IG or Instagram at say 1350 by 1080. So this auto reframe is beautiful, but it's also beautiful because my adaptive templates, which are adaptive, right, and responsive, they also work seamlessly with auto reframe. So if
Okay.
someone's using my adaptive templates, after they do an auto reframe, they just go to the my template, from the drop menu, select the appropriate frame size, and all the graphics will frame size. So everything that they type at the 4K resolution, all the animations they see will now work seamlessly, beautifully in this new 1350 by 1080 frame size.
And
So it's a
which
wonderful time to develop this high quality templates, and also because of automation and things they call content velocity. Folks need to develop more content, right? And also for the money, you know.
and would you perhaps like to show us a couple of these adaptive responsive Mograph templates?
Alrighty. So this is actually After Effects interface. We're going to look at this feature now. So what's responsive motion graphics? Essentially, it's when you connect two or more properties to one or more properties, such that there's a linkage, there's a relationship between the different properties. And to show you very quickly, see the text up here, it says adaptive and responsive motion graphics. If I come up here, this is known as my essential graphics panel. If you use Premiere Pro and After Effects, you'll be familiar with this panel. Now I've edited the text up here. I remove motion graphics. I'm gonna click outside of this text edit box so that it'll update here. And if you see the text is obviously updated, but not only that, the graphic has also updated itself. Now it's shorter and it aligns itself with the new text. And also the text below. That's also resized to fit here. So the design continues to be perfectly, at least to me, designed. Yeah.
Yep.
It's not the case where I deleted the text from the top and I have to adjust the line width. I have to adjust the text so that the end is perfectly there. See that? So again, this time I'm typing CreativeCOW, so the text at the bottom also adjusts itself to align
Right.
perfectly. Yep, the right justification, and then again the line lengthens itself. So this is an example of responsive motion graphics. I think it's quite beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Doubly beautiful is that once this template is sent to an editor, say in Premiere Pro, the editor doesn't have to do any graphics designing. Editor
Great.
has their own work cut out for them in terms of storytelling, editing, and all these things. And a lot of them may not necessarily have the motion graphic skills, but also because of this thing called content velocity, they need to produce a lot of content on a weekly, sometimes maybe even daily basis. So a solution such as this, a template, very intelligent template such as this, really helps to speed up their workflows. And there is no loss in terms of the design qualities. Oh, now my editor's going to be doing my graphics. It's going to look like crap. Well, not necessarily because, hey, to the rescue, we have responsive features, right?
Right.
You design it well, you code or develop it well in After Effects, then when you send it over to Premiere Pro, your editor's gonna look wonderful, the boss is gonna look wonderful. Hey, everything looks so fine. And not only do they look good, but you produce content much more quickly.
Yes.
Alrighty. So next we come to this thing called adaptive motion graphics, which is another layer of feature. And I mentioned about it, just want to emphasize. Adaptive means when the template is placed into a new frame size, all the graphic elements adjust themselves, yeah, in terms of
Right.
sizing, positioning, and animation. So
Okay.
this one's quite beautiful, and I'll show this to you shortly. In fact, I'll show it to you right now. I'm just going to move a couple of panels away. All right. So we're here and we're looking at this someone swimming underwater, and we've got a little template here. So over here, what we're seeing is our After Effects timeline. I'm in After Effects now.
Okay.
These are the different templates in the different resolutions. There's HD 1080, 4K, on and on and on and on. And I've got a guide layer, which is the background. Now this is going to be sent into Premiere Pro. When it's received in Premiere Pro, it'll only be a single. It will be just a single layer, and we'll look at that shortly also. But in After Effects, I want to show you how this thing works and how beautiful it is.
Okay.
This template has a spreadsheet hooked up to it. The spreadsheet, in this case, it is designed for localization campaigns or exercises. Localization meaning this one template can work in different languages. And I've designed this to work in certain Southeast Asian languages where I'm from. I'm from Singapore, by the way, for those who may not know. So I can pick a Japanese to say if my client has customers in Japan and they want to get in touch with them, I can produce the content in Singapore, and then I can send this out to my little office or smaller office in Japan, and they'll have this content ready to go also. In the old ways, they'll finish an English content, possibly starting with an English video, send it off to Japan. Someone will transcribe to English, and then translate to Japanese, and then get the editor in, send it to the editor, make the adjustments. May take 1 2 days, even if they're quick. But with adaptive and responsive features, the Japanese version can come maybe 5 minutes after the English version is done. So that's
Okay.
how quick,
Yeah, that's very fast.
very, very fast. So anyway, so looking at this essential graphics panel here, my frame size, I'm in 4K now. I can pick different sizes. Yep, and it's resize itself. So I think I'll work in HD 1080 because it's a lot quicker for it to update. But you'll notice when we get to Premiere, it's actually very, very fast, yeah? So anyway, so I've got automation mode on. I can disable it. Automation mode on means it's picking up the paragraph text content from the spreadsheet, right? These are not pre-made or pre-rendered graphics, yeah?
Okay.
These are all created on the fly right now through some beautiful codes that I wrote, and the graphics that were created here, and they were coded also, so that everything works together as one happy company. I got some other nice features. It all depends on the developer, what they want to build in, what they promise the client, what the client wants. So, and all this is animated, of course, right? I'll just initiate a quick preview. Can you see the graphics
Yes.
rendering here? Yeah. So it's After Effects, so it's a bit slow, but if you think about it, there are about 12 layers of graphics there, a
Uh-huh.
few hundred lines of code, all working seamlessly, beautifully together to create this sort of graphics.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to zoom in here. Now, if you look closely here, yeah, there's this little full stop that's sticking out here,
Yeah.
right? Let me zoom in a little bit more, right? So that doesn't look nice. So with responsive design and adaptive design stuff or features, stuff like this, and because it's largely driven by code, we can also build in features like this. I've got this feature called paragraph width. So I can adjust the paragraph width. So do you see what happened?
Right.
Very minor change.
Yeah, changed the entire thing, made everything
Yeah, I
easier to see.
adjusted the width of the box or the text. Okay, let me do a big change so you can see it more clearly. See that?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is one template, and see how beautiful this is?
Yeah.
So not only does it allow you to solve issues related to those kind of issues, we call it often, yeah, where text or word or part of a sentence, in this case, it's a full stop that gets often on its own. It's on a line on its own. And for editorial, we don't like that, right?
Right.
So building in this paragraph with feature is something clients will like. And also sometimes the graphic covers someone's face, and which I don't like, but these days clients don't mind. But if that person's face or that person was your boss, would think you want that to happen. So
No.
this is again a nice feature to build in or to have in your template, your motion graphics template. So you can adjust it. And then we've also got scaling features. And all these features, it all depends on the person who's developing the template, right? And this one, I've got the font size for the top here. And you see, as I adjust this font here, font size, the box changes also.
Yep.
All the lines, the panels, everything changes. So it's, again, like I said, it's one happy company. All the graphic elements are working together.
Beautiful.
And of course, yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can,
Now, do you sell the individual templates, or are
I,
you wanting to teach others mostly how they can create their own?
well, yeah, well, I think your question is about how am I monetizing this?
I guess.
All right. The answer is I'm not. No. Well, I could do a lot more. I haven't been doing enough because with templates and stuff, although I've been developing them for a long time for these adaptive and responsive features, I've gone on start stop,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of time and effort to develop these things for the first time because a lot of things that I need to know to develop a solution such as this, I had to learn on my own, right?
Right.
Yeah, so a lot of trial and error, a lot of testing, a lot of pushing the envelope, so to speak.
Mhm.
So anyway, so yeah, templates. Yeah, so I'm looking at developing templates and selling them online. I've got clients, couple of clients who have this type of solution, and training is the next one. But I would want to see more customers, more clients come out and say, hey, we want adaptive and responsive templates. I also want big companies to come to me and or someone like me and say, hey, we want to learn how to develop these adaptive and responsive templates, because now in-house we can develop our own templates.
Uh-huh.
And then from this one master template, which is another name for adaptive and responsive templates, from this one template, we can create other templates. And immediately after this, I'll show you how I will go from this. We call this an OTS or over the shoulder motion graphics template.
Okay.
I'm going to show you how I will adapt this into a lower third for naming conventions and stuff like that.
Okay.
So training for people like me who work on their own or production houses is one way to monetize this, and also training big companies, brands, bigger production houses, so that they can develop these solutions for themselves and for their clients also. Okay, now I'm gonna come in here. The beauty of this entire thingy. Sorry, I'm just gonna jump back here.
Okay.
Right now I'm in HD 1080. If I come up here. hmm, right? And up here, I've selected HD 1080. I've made a text change, correct?
Yes.
If I go to my 4K composition, you can see the text updates there also.
Right.
It's like magic.
Magic.
Isn't this wonderful? Yeah. So
Yes.
not only do the graphic elements work together, the text content across the different frame sizes also work seamlessly together in terms of update and stuff like that. So even up here, this magnum opus, gonna change it to CreativeCOW.
Hmm.
As you can see, the design stays consistent, right? All right, I want to show you now how I'm gonna convert this template into a lower third, yeah, where you can put someone's name and stuff like that. So for this, I'm gonna come down here. Well, actually, I don't know if I can do it here. Let's see. So I don't need, I'm gonna disable automation mode. So when automation mode is disabled, the text that we see for the paragraph area is taken off locally, whatever I type into the template here. So it's no more reading the paragraph text content from the spreadsheet. So I'm gonna delete the paragraph text because for lower thirds, you don't need paragraph text. You just need a
Right.
name. So excuse me while I use my name. There you go. Put my last name below here and switch that, and just like that, it's already a lower third, but I also want to change the spacing in here because it's a bit too much spacing.
Hmm.
So for that, because I did not put the controls here, because we don't want the editors to touch these things, we're going to come up to spacing. So we're looking at spacing between, this is the one, and I think this one also.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. So done. So now it's
Lower third.
exactly. And not only that, all the sizing. So the positioning, if I say I want to put it centered, it'll be there. If I want
Okay.
it to be on the right, it's there. And of course, the font is too huge now. So I'll bring it lower, maybe 60 point size. Yeah. And I'll switch to 4K. If you notice, when I did the redesign, it was done in 4K. Now
Yes.
I go to HD 1080, the design is also updated there. It's amazing, right? It's like going to your favorite restaurant and having your best steak ever, and then coming home and then it's there waiting for you again. So again, edit the whole idea with adaptive and responsive motion graphics. It's quite mind-boggling. It's something new, and you have to wrap your head around it. But I tell people It's creating a master. It's not a template, it's a master template. It's a template from which other templates can be developed.
Okay.
And I think I did it in about 3 minutes,
Yeah.
right? Going from an over the shoulder with a paragraph text, blah blah blah, and from there I went to a lower third, and I under 3 minutes. And if I wanted to break a record, I could. I'm quite confident I can do it under a minute. Okay, this one, the idea for this is to show an end text here at the end of a video or at the start of the video. You're trying to, not trying, but you want to show your company's name, and this is my company's name right now. You know, I'm making template sandwiches. So, so you have a text coming on, and then you've got your URL and stuff like that. So this, if you look at the essential graphics panel with the controls here, and I don't know if you've noticed, I've not mentioned it, but unlike normal templates, these templates are developed very specific for a company. So there is no option to change the font, no option to change the font size unless you want to
Because
put it
it's a
in there.
brand.
Exactly. This is a
Yes.
brand. So the way things move is going to be consistent. The way things look, the sizing in terms of the headline tags, the paragraph tags, the footer tags, so on and so forth. Everything's very, very consistent. But as you can see, there's with all this consistency, there's no loss of design aspiration, so to speak. Things still look pretty good. Anyways, so um shorten it and you can see the text here. What I want to show you is that so this one, it's let me switch to HD 1080. So it's got a transition effect, and then we've got two graphic elements coming on, but also text in the middle. Whoops.
Nice.
Yeah, but not only that, see, it's responsive. It's responsive. If you, I'm going to stop about here. So right now it says mushrooms, right?
Yes.
And this is where the two graphics are. If I add in the text tomato, I'm going to click outside the box, but I want you to pay attention here. One, two, three. You see that?
Yep.
So as soon as the text updated, the graphics also updated. It
Uh-huh.
changed the positions to take into account that the new text input is longer. So what I'm showing here is that with one template, you can cover a lot of bases, right? This template works with multiple text input, whether it's short, long, or multiple lines. I can do 2 lines also. With traditional templates, you can't have this sort of automated solution. So you can, now with 2 line text input, even the line at the bottom here stays in sync with whatever's happening there. So it's quite beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I was saying earlier, today, even today, because a lot of clients don't know about these things, adaptive and responsive features, they send very, very conventional templates. You have to go in, you have to make adjustments. You need a motion graphics person to come in. Takes a lot of time, takes a lot of time, costs extra money because you need to get a motion graphics guy. Even if he or she's
Mhm.
in-house, he or she's wasting time working on tedious work such as this, which is not very creative, but it still has to be done because it's an important part of the video, isn't it? Just looking at this, just to emphasize again, one template works in so many different resolutions or frame sizes and works in so many different text input. So it's really productive. And I mentioned earlier on, clients, I don't know why they pay a lot of money for After Effects templates, but they're not responsive, they're not adaptive. They send you 20, 30, sometimes 40 different templates.
And they could
And
just be sending
honestly,
one.
most of it you don't really need,
Yeah.
or you can't use, or it's a waste of time to use it. And more than half the time, you have to look through all 40, right? To see which one is applicable for your current use.
Hmm.
In this day of design thinking, I have no idea what they're thinking, to send out, 30, 40 templates in an After Effects package. It's so weird. Anyways, I'm gonna jump into Premiere Pro because I think it's good experience for viewers to see what it looks like on that ad.
Okay.
The templates that we develop are developed in After Effects. They can be used in After Effects. Quite often, they're also sent to a Premiere Pro editor, like I've mentioned, and that's the one of the workflows. In After Effects, we can do the render automation or video automation where we can render hundreds or thousands of versions, right? Say we
Right.
want to do personalized videos and things like that. So that's always possible in After Effects. Another workflow is we send the templates to an editor in Premiere Pro. What I want to show now is that one template, this is a template design, and it's been designed for, this one has different versions. So we've got the lower third, and we've got this one, I think it's bullet points. Again, the design looks pretty consistent. So a client, if they invest in adaptive and responsive motion graphics toolkit, a toolkit is essentially a term which entails having a set of templates. Instead of one template, you have a set of templates, one to handle all your lower thirds, another one, in this case, handles your bullet points. So whether you have one, two, three, or four bullet points, just the editor just types accordingly. So with a set of templates, we call it a toolkit. So they probably have to set out within the toolkit 4 or 5 templates, all within a single folder, and so easy for the editor to get going once they receive it. So in Premiere. All right, so this template, I might sell this out in the market. If you go to marketplaces where that sell motion graphics templates, you will not be able to find an adaptive template out there because right now they only exist on my computer, I think. There are some people I'm pretty sure who do develop adaptive, but at what detail or how detailed they are, what kind of features are built in, I don't know. I think mine has very, very wonderful features and I want to sell it. I don't think I'll make a lot of money, not as much as providing developer solutions or consulting solutions to bigger brands. But I think it's a start and it'll help to introduce the concept, the idea. Oh, there's this thing called adaptive and responsive motion graphics, and it's essentially a master template from which you can develop other templates for a brand or an organization to use. So I think one of the steps I want to do in order to help expose these features is selling it on the market, which was what I used initially when I developed templates or motion graphics templates back over 20 years ago. So over here, this again, we're in Premiere Pro, so we're in the Essential Graphics panel, we're in Edit mode, and up here you can choose the different frame sizes. Right now, my timeline or my program sequence in Premiere Pro is set for HD 1080, so that's what I'm going to choose. Again, for this template, I've got a different auto positioning. I've got my headlines. So everything updates, beautiful. Again, this is a different design, but the features are more or less the same, right? But over here, because this is for public purchase, so I've allowed for changes in the font. So if someone has a client who uses the Garamond font, easy to change over there. They want bold, doesn't matter, everything works.
Okay.
And of course, they can type in the new text. Again, everything just updates and same features you've seen. I've got leading here. I've got additional features. Again, because this is not locked to a brand. So most brands, they will have very strict requirements in terms of the left padding, the right padding, the top padding, the bottom padding, and stuff like that, so that they can be visually consistent for their identity branding purposes. But because this is going to be sold to the public or may be sold to the public, I have to add in a lot more features up here. So even minor details like the text colors, again, because any brand could be using this. So the text, let's say the headline text, white, there you go. Well, it's a bit off white. Let's make it closer to white. I can change panel colors. Let's say I don't want the accent here to be orange or this one to be orange. All right, so now they're black there. So many options. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
It's just
Um,
ridiculous.
yeah, yeah, it's like how can this be happening, you know?
Okay.
Well, it's been designed that way, you know.
Right.
And I think what's beautiful is I think an important thing is if someone's watching this and they're not familiar with the development phase, I'm going, hey, this looks wonderful. I would love to have a template from which I can develop other templates. Who doesn't, right?
Mhm.
Everyone loves templates because it speeds up workflows,
Yes.
ensures visual consistency in terms of the branding. So who doesn't want a mother template from which or master template from which other templates can be easily created? Everyone wants this. I would think so, assuming everyone's sane. They would want to have a solution such as this. So the next question is this. Everyone will want this. The next question is, how long does it take to develop something like this? Right? My answer is, of course, depends on who you hire, or yeah, I guess who you hire and how much, which will then reflect on how much they know. But for me, I think it will only take 2, 3 days maximum difference between developing an adaptive and responsive template compared to regular templates.
Okay.
So I think the difference is minimal. Of course, it'll take longer. Can't be faster. It'll take a bit longer, but I think it's worthwhile the investment because from there you get so many other templates. Oh, and also, like I mentioned, adaptive responsive templates, they are easily adaptable to allow for automated workflows.
Okay.
So even the headline here, the text, everything can be fed into a spreadsheet
Right.
and everything will work just wonderfully. Consistent, beautiful, and it doesn't look cheap. These days, a lot of the graphics that I use for automated video workflows, they look quite cheap. Unfortunately, I'm afraid I have to say that. They'll have someone's name somewhere in the middle,
Uh-huh.
right? But doesn't look like it's part of a overall
Theme.
design. It's just like stuck in there somewhere
Yeah.
you know but if you apply personalized videos with features such as with responsive and adaptive features, the design looks like wow, someone made some effort to put my name there. It's part of the design. Yeah. So let's
Right.
say like over here like now, if you get a creative car, oh shit, Roland did all that work for me. It looks wonderful. And then I'll tell you, hey, really no, this is responsive. I just type it once and all everything's resized.
Mhm.
But that's the whole idea. Make something beautiful, do it once, and then let the coding, right? The
Yeah.
code that you put in, let that do the work, and that's it.
Okay.
And back at the cow, if anyone has questions, post your questions there, and I'll come and reply.
Well, Roland, this has been very informative. Just one last thing. Would you like to let everyone kind of know where they can go to learn more about how to create these adaptive responsive templates?
Oh, I think get in touch with me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
LinkedIn. Follow the cow.
Follow the cow. Absolutely. Yes.
Follow the cow. It's still moving along. Uh, we yeah. If when I run a course for the general public, I hope to announce it at the cow also, and we'll see
Absolutely.
what happens there, right?
Yeah.
Um, but if there's a big company, you can afford $2,000 to $5,000 a day to pay me. I can start training pretty soon. Yeah,
Well, thank you,
because
Roland.
the thing is, for clients, for specific clients, it's a lot easier to set aside time because I know I'll have that you know money there. Plus, I come in, I will look at the requirements for the training,
Okay.
which is much easier than me sitting down and thinking how long should I plan this and that and that. So with a company coming in for very customized training, it's a lot easier coming up with the lesson plan because I've got tons of materials.
Right.
So yeah, so for customized training, I'm ready to go. But for public training, that takes a bit more time. It's more planning, more thinking, more forethought, more imagination. Because I can't ask 10 of 100 students what they want to learn, and then from there, come
Yes.
up with a plan and stuff like that. With customized training, it's a lot easier.
Well, thank you, Roland, for joining us here at Creative Cow. This has been wonderful.
Thank you.